believe in economic justice, ending violence against women, racial justice, LGBTQIA plus rights, and constitutional rights. So that's our agenda. Every election year, we sponsor a nonpartisan candidate forum for people who are running for nonpartisan positions. Normally, these people are on your primary ballot, and that's how they get elected. Sometimes, if they don't get 51%, they will fall to the November ballot. But if you vote by mail, you should have your ballot already, and you can use tonight to help make some decisions. If you haven't gotten your mail-in ballot, contact the supervisor of elections, and they will help you re-sign up to vote by mail because everybody was cleared last year. Okay, there's a couple candidates in the audience who are running for election that are not nonpartisan positions, but I would like them to introduce themselves and what position they're running for.
You want me to start?
Hi, my name is Lisa Moretti. I'm running for County Commissioner for District 1. I'm running against Ron Oakley, and as you all know, you all get to vote for all the seats that are up, and we actually have 4 this time, which is very unusual. So, nice to meet you. I have some things over here if you want to pick up some campaign literature. I also love giving out, I have a heart pin with a flag in it because it's time to put the heart back in America, and I'm an MPA candidate. Thank you.
My name is Chris Dunning, and I'm running for the office of Superintendent of Schools. It is a partisan position. I am personally running an NPA, but because it is a partisan position, I won't be able to speak this evening. But I am here if you have questions, ideas, comments about education. I'm trying to get an educator in the position. I've been in Pasco County Schools public education for over 30 years, and thank you so much.
And we love you.
Okay, now I'd like to have the League of Women Voters come up and introduce themselves.
Thank you, Elaine. I'm Donna Ernest. I'm with the League of Women Voters of Hillsborough and Pasco County. Can y'all hear me back there?
Yes.
All right. Big family. The candidate forum tonight is part of the core mission of the League to educate and inform voters. The League is also a nonpartisan political organization which was formed over 100 years ago, just before the 19th Amendment was ratified. Suffragists wanted to provide education for women who were gaining the right to vote. Along with forums tonight, the ongoing mission of educating and informing is also being carried out by Vote 411 Guide, which is published online by the League every voting season. The Vote 411 Guide is a state, county, and a national project of the League. Each candidate here tonight would have received a letter from the League and has been given the opportunity to have their responses published word for word, exactly as submitted, so you can compare their answers in the Vote 411 Guide. You can connect with the 411 Guide through vote411.org, or we have a QR on the poster at the League table in the back tonight. So I want to thank the Pasco Now for co-hosting this with our League, and it's always great to work with you all. So let's get informed.
Okay, first thing, I'm going to go over the rules. The candidates have 3 minutes to speak. We're probably going by the published agenda, except we're going to flip-flop the 2 circuit judges as one candidate has not arrived yet and may be lost. We don't know. Nancy and Sally are our timekeepers. They will hold up a green card when you have time to speak. You'll get a yellow card when you're close to the end, and then a red card, which means stop. And I will stop you. We have prepared questions that we will ask if time allows, and we also don't believe there will be time to answer questions from the audience. Please feel free to stick around and talk to people afterwards. Or you can email their campaign. Thank you. Okay, so first up, Circuit Court Judge for Circuit 614, Cornelius Demps.
Good evening. Let's try that again. Good evening.
Good
evening.
My name is Cornelius Demps, and I'm running for Circuit Judge in the 6th Judicial Circuit here in Pasco and Pinellas County, Group 14. I'm answering my call of service to this community. I actually began my career right here in this community. I started off as a prosecutor in Newport Richey. I'm assigned to handle cases of the full variety. I was assigned to violent offender cases in circuit courts. That includes home invasion robbery, drug trafficking cases, attempted murder cases. Also the cases that I handled in county court that here, one of those was white-tailed deer hunting violation cases, which is a really big deal around here if you don't know about that. I gained a ton of experience in Newport Richey, so honestly I thank you for placing your trust in me to keep this community safe and gain my experience. I left and went to the Attorney General's office in Tampa where I became an appellate prosecutor, and at that point I handled cases from Pasco County to Fort Myers. So I talked to prosecutors throughout the entire circuits about issues that they were facing and dealing with issues including Puerto Rico's law, drug trafficking, and other, and also human trafficking cases. I thought I'd be a prosecutor my entire career until, if you have my candidate card and check on the back, you'll see my wife and those 2 kids, and my oldest, Alexandra, was on the way, and it became very clear that I need to go to private practice and make some money too. Kids eat a lot. So I went to private practice. I became a corporate litigator at Bush Ross, where I handled employment law cases, construction issue cases, but I was also assigned to handle criminal defense cases for clients. And that's some of the best experience that I really got. I'm the only candidate in this race who has a well-rounded career as a prosecutor and as a criminal defense attorney. So I understand when we need to enforce the laws and also sometimes when people need to be protected. As a criminal defense attorney, I was able to do expungement records for people. I was able to talk to prosecutors before they filed charges on cases and also make sure that judges understood what people's rights were when they were in court. I had great experience doing that work as a corporate attorney representing different businesses, to the point where during the pandemic I was also recognized by the Tampa Bay Business Journal, one of the people to know in law doing a significant win in CARES Act litigation. At the time, we had no guidance from the government on the CARES Act, so as all lawyers, we were paid to figure it out, and I figured it out. I was able to get that work done. I'm also a community servant. I'm the current past president of the George Edgecombe Bar Association in Hillsborough County, where we provide scholarships to first-generation college-bound students. We've also raised money for breast cancer research at Moffitt Cancer Center. And I've also done work here in the 6th Circuit, including a member of Boys Court, where we try to end the school-to-prison pipeline for young men who are being charged for the first time. In fact, I'll be speaking at that court tomorrow, so if I'm done here, I'll talk to y'all, and I got to go to sleep after that. But I just thank you all for this time, this opportunity for y'all to get to know me. I look forward to all the questions I'm able to answer. My wife is the love of my life. She would love to be here tonight, but when babysitter's canceled, you got to make a pivot. So on behalf of her, she says thank you for this opportunity, and based on the events that happened this past weekend, thank you for hosting a safe venue for us all to come here and get to know one another.
Okay, thank you very much. Jen Dubell?
Yes.
Is that right? Dubell. Sorry.
Hello. I'm Jen DeBell. I'm running for Circuit Court, seat 14, and I want to continue my career as a public servant. I'm currently an assistant public defender. I've been in the public defender's office for almost 18 years this fall. I'll tell you a little background about myself. I'm a mother. I have a 15-year-old son, and I have a 12-year-old daughter. I graduated from the University of South Florida with my bachelor's degree, and then I went on to law school in Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, where it's very cold. I attended Cooley Law School, and then I came right back down here. I currently live in Seminole, and I started my legal career at a boutique law firm doing primarily family law, a little bit contractual law, and title work. I realized that there was something missing. At the time, I wasn't really sure what it was, but I needed something that was a little bit more fulfilling and giving back. I applied at the public defender's office and the state attorney's office, and I ended up at the public defender's office simply because I received the invitation for an interview first, and I was hired right on the spot. Almost 18 years later, I look back and I think that was probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made. The most common question I get is, why on earth would you stay at the public defender's office for so long? It's well known. I don't passionate about our Constitution, and I think that it's so important to have somebody to stand up and protect our individual rights that were granted through the Constitution. Every single day that I go to work, I get to protect people's individual rights. I look at that as an honor. I'm proud to be a public defender and to have such a big stress load of others on my back, because I can do it with grace, and I truly get to enjoy my line of work by helping people. It's my job to make sure that the government doesn't infringe on people's rights. I get to make sure that they do their job. I get to make sure that the government charges people accurately and when there's evidence to support whatever crimes it is. With that said, I don't get to, not everybody that comes to me can be helped. I have a high caseload. I don't get to pick my cases. I get assigned what I get assigned, just as judges don't get to pick their cases. But there are so many people that I do get to help. Not everybody's a career hardened criminal like many think in the public. There are many people that just had one life-altering event, maybe a divorce or a car accident, and it sent them on the wrong path. It's my job to get them back on track, and I have done that many times. I'm in court every single day, Monday through Friday, sometimes on weekends. I have handled thousands of cases, from something as simple as a disorderly intoxication to many murders. I have handled probably thousands, or maybe hundreds, but could be in the thousands, I don't keep track of it, motions and hearings. And I've done many jury trials and bench trials, and I have extensive, that's it, okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nick Fiorentino, running for Circuit Court Judge, Group 14. I've been an attorney for over 21 years. I've been married to my wife, Mary, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, for almost 19 years, and we share 4 children together. Over my career, I have done family law, personal injury, probate, and criminal law. I'm also a critical incident attorney for law enforcement. And when law enforcement is involved in a shooting or incidents, I respond to those shootings 24/7 to represent the officers. Throughout my career, I have tried to serve with distinction to represent the people that hire me to represent them. I had a case back in 2015 that caused me to want to be a judge, and I want to share that with you tonight. It was a father who had 50% of the time with his daughter, and the mom filed to modify custody for no legal reason. We had a trial. Halfway through the trial, the judge limited our presentation of evidence and said, we're going to finish this by lunch, and it was an all-day trial. Well, when that case was over, the judge issued findings that were just inconsistent with the law, inconsistent with the evidence presented, and my client lost time with his child. It went from having 50-50 to every other weekend. I told my client, you need to appeal. He didn't have the money to appeal. I said, I'll do it for free. I've never done an appeal. We'll figure this out, because I felt so strongly about it. Ultimately, the appellate court agreed with us and overturned that case, but it took 9 months. And that was 9 months of that child not being with her father, not being with her siblings, the amount of time that she should have been. And it was because of that case that I decided we need to have attorneys who will walk away from their successful practices and serve the community. So that's what I chose to do. Throughout my career, I've always tried to serve, whether it's through the legal profession or the community at large. In the legal profession, I've been on the board of the St. Pete Bar. I've been a chair of the Maryland Family Law section, and I've also, my time's coming short. In the community, I'll talk about that a little bit. I'm involved in the Summer Lake Rotary. I've been the secretary for the last 2.5 years. Do a lot of volunteer work through that. I'm on the board of Hero to a Child, which is the Guardian Lighting Foundation, which serves the foster kids of Pinellas and Pasco. And I also serve on the Intervention and Appeals Committee at Madeira Beach Fundamental. I've done that for the last 10 years, even the last 4 after my kids left that school. So I want to thank you all very much for having us here tonight. Hopefully we'll get to answer some questions. And I also want to share that as of yesterday, I was endorsed by the Tampa Bay Times for this seat. Thank you.
Okay, could I have all 3 candidates up, please? For your questions. What do you perceive as the most important qualifications of a judge?
Guess I'll lead off for that one. I would say three different things. Number one is experience. When you deal with circuit court, you're dealing with very serious cases. And many times these are people who come into court on some of the worst days of their life. People who could be put in prison for the rest of their life, or they've been hurt and there's multi-million-dollar damages that are in play, or you're dealing with family members who are trying to keep children together, or marriages that may be falling apart. You want to make sure you have judges who have the jury trial experience, the bench trial experience, and the litigation experience to know what they are doing and understand the role they are playing. Number one is experience. Number two, I would say, is humility, understanding what the role they have and how they serve here in the community. I believe in servant leadership. I believe the judge serves as a servant to the community, and they understand that. And the last one is understanding that, excuse me, the last one would be understanding the global perspective of our court system as well. Our circuit court judges, our appellate court judges, they all have to work together with the attorneys to make sure we are instilling confidence in our judicial system and that we are protecting it. I think a judge needs to have all three of those qualities to serve.
What civic organizations or nonprofits have you been a member of in recent years, and what positions have you held, if any?
Well, in addition to being a public servant for almost 18 years, I've been very active in the community. I am a mentor at multiple schools. I started at Madera Beach Fundamental when my child was in seventh, well, not my child personally, but my mentee was in 7th grade, and she will be entering 11th grade this school year. I also am involved with Lawyers for Literacy, which is a program where I get to mentor a 3rd grade student, getting them prepared for the FAST testing to make sure that they pass a student somebody that's a little behind in reading comprehension. I'm part of the Intervention and Appeals Committee at Madera Beach Fundamental School. I'm also a volunteer with the Florida Bar Mediation and Arbitration Program, along with Fluff Animal Rescue, and I'm also a Rotarian.
We all know there's a great disparity in the severity of sentences between whites and people of color. What will you do to ensure even administration of justice?
So the best way to ensure even administration of justice is to treat everyone who comes before you with respect and dignity. 50% of the people who leave your courtroom are going to leave unhappy. It's just the nature of the job. And I think if you treat everyone with respect who comes before you, dignity, treat them fairly, apply the law accurately and correctly to everyone, then hopefully that disparity would be addressed.
Thank you very much. Okay. Do we have Kate yet? Okay, Colleen, can you come up and speak? Colleen is already elected.
Thank you. I'm Colleen Bodwin. Thank you. Pasco County School Board District 2, and I made a few notes. I'm going to keep it short because I know you want to hear from the candidates, but I do want to thank you for the opportunity to continue serving our community. It really is an honor and a privilege. I am passionate about public education, and I believe all children can learn. I'm a career educator with over 30 years experience, and I'm a mom to 3 boys. The last time I was here, I asked for your support of the teacher pay referendum, and I'm extremely grateful to all of you who supported that. For our teachers, our bus drivers, our cafeteria staff, and our non-administrative staff. As you all know, I'm sure we are the largest employer in Pasco County with approximately 12,000 employees and almost 85,000 students in pre-K through grade 12. The best thing we can do for students is put a highly qualified teacher in front of them. The referendum has helped us do that. We have fewer vacancies. So the last 2 years ago when it first passed, fewer this past year, and in the upcoming year, still fewer vacancies. We are not 100% yet, but I am told by staff that we should be down in double digits opening by the time school starts, which puts us in a much better position than our neighboring districts and where we were in the past. So I'm very grateful to all of you, so thank you. We are good stewards of your taxpayer dollar, and we have a citizen oversight committee that reviews that data.
The graduation rates in Pasco County schools are the highest in the Tampa Bay area, and I'm very proud of that. That was for the 22-23 school year, it was 91.1%. And I believe the official numbers, I know the official numbers don't come out until November, but it looks like we're gonna be close to or at 94% of the graduation rate. So we continue to improve. I put some handouts over there and I got to some of you with them. I just wanted to share some information about the district. There's a handout about the advanced academic opportunities that we have for students, and there's a handout about our career and technical education programs. That one's front and back, but all the different programs that we have, so students are college and career ready when they leave Pasco County schools. And I also left some information about magnet programs. So I just want to, again, just thank you for the opportunity to serve, and I wanted you to have a face with the name and let you know if you ever have questions or concerns to please reach out to me. Thank you.
Nicole, would you mind waiting one more time? I just want to give an opportunity if someone's lost.
I
but-
get it. I am a patient person. I am here for the next one. I got it.
Okay, so now we're up to Allison Crumley.
It's the traffic and growth, right? All right, this is the best place. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Great. So I'm from Pasco County, 1967. My background is I grew up in Holiday with a single mom and my sister. Unfortunately, I lost my sister to substance abuse, so I have a heart for both of those situations and families and people in those situations. I also want to thank Mrs. Bodwin already said, I want to thank the organization for the support that you gave our board, and myself included, worked very hard to get the teacher referendum on the ballot because we felt it was really important, and this organization supported us, so thank you so much for that. And as she already alluded to, it's already showing very excellent results. I'm actually on that oversight committee you mentioned because I wanted 2 years for that to happen again. We need the county to be backing it again, and with a strong oversight committee, that will help. Yes, she said that about a 93, 94% graduation rate, so that's good. I'll just talk about some other things. But we can't rest on our laurels. We always have a lot of work to do. There are pockets in our county, pockets that I call of poverty, and sadly the grades are often reflected in these areas. We all know that an engaged parent helps the student achievement, and if a family is broken or there isn't an engaged parent for them, it's very difficult for a child. If you arrive at school and you're a child and you're hungry, or you're in the flight or fright condition in your mind, it's very difficult to focus on schoolwork. So one of the things we did, and I was a part of, is we built the Hudson K-12. I don't know if any of you have seen the facility. It's a great facility. I encourage you to go there. It's a community school where we have free dental, free medical, and free counseling for these families because we want these children to have success. So that's one of the things I've been involved with. I also, I'm on the Lakuchi Boys and Girls Club board. I've been a board member for 6 years. I don't know how many of you know where Lakuchi is. It's basically on the other side of the county. Many homes don't even have floors in them. They are dirt floors. It's unbelievable. So I decided to get on that Boys and Girls Club board, and the tutoring provided by the Boys and Girls Club, the Withlacoochee River Electric Co-op, and the awesome principal Latoya Jordan and the staff at that school, the elementary school, they just raised their math scores 20 points that we just got a few weeks ago. So very exciting. And again, my heart is for the underserved in this community. I also was pushing, or some would say nagging, in the background for the renovation of Gulf High School, which is where I graduated. Oh, I know. Oh, I'm out of time? Oh, dang. Okay. As I'm walking off, I'll just tell you this sweet story of this young man. When he saw the school built, he said, "They built this school for us." So,
Okay,
Sorry.
Jessica?
Hey there, thank you guys for coming out. My name's Jessica Wright, and I'm running for Pasco County School Board. I grew up here, graduated from Gulf High School. My kids go to school here, and I've also been a teacher here, and I still teach. So I actually am also a state assessor. I'm a clinical educator mentor, which is really just a fancy word for I'm the person that's helping those teachers become highly effective and highly qualified. I've been a highly effective teacher for almost over 10 years now. I started working in education, as you could say, when I was in middle school, if you count peer tutoring over at Pasco Middle. And then into high school, I actually started teaching Sunday school, and I was an administrative assistant. I helped plan all the lesson plans for kids K through 5. And then I went on to intern while I was in college at Cody River, Trinity Elementary. I worked in a self-contained unit for a year with our ESE students. So those are with intellectual disabilities. And I've also taught at Sun Lake, Antelope High School, and Gulf High School. And so all of that to say, I also volunteer in the community. So I've got 2 kids. My daughter is 8. My son is 9. How I find the time, we'll never know. But I'm also on the Florida PTA Legislative Committee. We work statewide. I'm the legislative chair here in the county. I am also participated in our African American History Task Force here in the county to make sure that we're teaching accurate history, because that is my passion. One of the biggest concerns I have, and why I chose to frankly run against a 14-year incumbent, is because of some of the things I've seen in our classrooms. I feel like we need people who actually know what's going on in the day in and day out, because I can tell you my largest class was 42 kids, and that was just the amount of kids that were on my roster. That didn't account for the kids that were folding into my classroom because of absences. It's really hard to manage behavior in those moments. We hear all the time about discipline, behavior, and things like that, but I can tell you right now, if we reduced our class sizes and increased our ESE support, those behavior issues would go down. So I'm here tonight. Please stop by. Feel free to ask any questions. And I'm really just passionate about education and making sure that our kids have what they need. Thank you.
First, for Allison, what are your thoughts about the recent Florida school book bans in middle and high school media centers? What alternatives can be recommended for students? Okay, what is her thoughts on the book bans for middle and high school and the libraries, the media centers, and what alternatives can be recommended for students?
So I'm not sure which book bans. I know there's been a few in different areas.
From the Pasco County?
Oh, okay. Well, we go by what is allowed from the state list. So that's basically what I have to do by law. And we have a procedure if someone has a book that they are questioning or something in curriculum, and they start at the school level, and then there was a form to be filled out. So what was the second part? What was the alternative?
What alternatives do you recommend for students
Alternatives to,
if they can't get the book?
oh, if they can't get the book. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. They could get the public library at the Newport Ritchie Public Library, or probably this library, if it's something. We really haven't had many of these issues, honestly. There have been a few, but if they want to get a book that is not on the approved list, that I can't control, they can go to the public library.
Okay. For Jessica, what is your vision as a school board member for the public school system in Pasco County?
My vision would be that we reduce class sizes, like I mentioned, and that we're getting the ESE support that we need. About a year ago, we converted our ESE support facilitators to a compliance position. It's called SSS. They do essentially do a lot of paperwork. However, it decreased the amount of actual support that our students
One of the other issues with our ESC support is that if a teacher has an ESC endorsement, they are being counted as offering that ESC support, even if it's not in the actual minutes and one-to-one instruction that that child is supposed to receive. One of the other things I've also worked at is including and increasing therapy services to reduce barriers for our students. That's happened at the district level, which is actually coming to a new vote with the PIP form. I would also like to see our lunches improve. We provide lunch to every student in Pasco County, and we could be improving that with a new vendor. The lunches that we currently provide, there's a lot to be desired. I also really want to improve our rating proficiency. I love that we're at a 91% graduation rate, but when our kids are at a 36% proficiency rate, it's a concern.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to call Nicola.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Perlman. I am running for 6th Circuit Judicial Seat Group 9. I am hoping that you consider, or actually vote, I know most of you have your ballot. I'm on there, nonpartisan, the down ballot. Don't forget to vote. But my name is Nicole Perlman. My passion has been to get on the bench since I was a very little girl. I grew up very poor, not a lot. And I knew that if I wanted to do better for myself, I was going to have to put in the hard work. And so I did. I worked very hard in high school. I graduated number 9. I put myself through college while working full time, graduated with honors with 2 degrees. The same month I graduated, or the month after I graduated, I started law school, and I went straight through. I graduated number 9 in my law school class. I am the first person in my family to go to college, and I'm very proud of that. I worked hard my entire life. In fact, I graduated law school, and I started at the state attorney's office, 6th Judicial Circuit, the very next month while I was studying for the bar. And I did both because I was used to putting in the hard work. And I worked very hard at the state attorney's office. I loved what I did there. I sought justice. I didn't just try to get the wins. I am known for being fair there when I was there. I would often give case law to the defense when it helped them because it was the right thing to do. I prosecuted everything there from where the sentence was probation all the way up to life in prison with no chance of parole. I was in and out of the courtroom every day for 4 years. But I knew I wanted to be a judge, and I knew that in order to get there, I needed to have well-rounded experience. So I left the state attorney's office, and I went into a private firm, which was actually my best friend. I've been there ever since. And it's now Dunn & Perlman, and I worked there for the past 12 years. I worked there fine-tuning my skills in civil law and family law and making myself the best well-rounded candidate. I'm a small business owner. I recognized a need in St. Pete, kids' gym, where we could bring our kids. They didn't have anything, and so I brought that to the community because it's what it needed. At the time, I had 2 kids, and my husband and I said, we're going to make it work, and we did. So I know what it's like to run a business. I know what it's like to work hard, do what needs to be done, and put the time in. And I plan to bring all of that to the bench and my skills there. Thank you. Sorry, I was trying not to hit the red one.
Okay, so we have a question for you. What do you perceive as the most important qualifications of a judge?
I think that it's important to have experience. You want your judges to know the law, be familiar with it, be okay sitting on the bench and know that they know what they're doing. I think that it's important to also have humility, to know that I'm not the smartest person in the world. I don't know it all. And if I don't know something, I'm okay researching it. I'm okay, and respect, sorry. I think that you have to have respect for everyone that comes through those doors. It's the most important day of their life, no matter if it's crime, family law. Give them the time, hear them out, don't rush them, don't make them feel like they don't have a say in what's going on because it's their lives. And so humility, respect, and experience, which I think I have all 3 of, and I think I make a fabulous job because of it.
Elaine, Kate, called in.
You have a message?
He's over here.
I already spoke to Lisa, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that Kate did reach out. She didn't realize that there was an event tonight, so she passes on her regrets. She wasn't on her way because she was unaware, and she got the opportunity to speak with you, Elaine, so she'll be reaching out to you. I just
Okay.
wanted to pass along her regrets.
Thank you. Okay, then we're up to mosquito control. Did Randy Evans comment?
He did.
All
You're
right.
right.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Randy Evans. I am Commissioner on the Pasco County Mosquito Control Board. I am currently the chairman. I work with Commissioner Cox there in the back, and we help keep you safe. I grew up here in Clearwater. I was an Eagle Scout, earned the Silver Palm. I'm a retired Coast Guard veteran. Started off as a search and rescue boat captain, became a special agent for the Coast Guard Investigative Service. My last case was the BP Deepwater Horizon, where we got a $4.5 billion settlement. I was in charge of 2 multi-state districts, and I have a master's degree, and I am a Shriner, and I am currently on the board for the Volunteer Way. So we distribute food and supplies to needy people here in Pasco. My wife is a retired school teacher here in Pasco County. We have 2 daughters in their 20s, and I have a college. So I wanted to talk to you real briefly. Mosquitoes are the most deadliest animal in the world. They kill more people than anything else. The Panama Canal didn't get built for years and years because of a malaria outbreak. If you have a dog and you're worried about heartworm, mosquitoes transmit that. So that's why we need to work very hard to make sure that we keep viruses and disease at a minimum. There was an outbreak in Sarasota of malaria. We actually had a triple E outbreak with emus here in Pasco County. We quickly quelled that. We've hired probably the best executive director, I think, here in Pasco County. She was formerly in charge of the whole state of Florida, and she's absolutely phenomenal. In fact, she's the first female executive director of our district. We've purchased, since I've been there, I was appointed by Nikki Freed back in 2020. Since I've been there, I think it was the first meeting I made the motion to purchase 2 brand new helicopters. We had 2 helicopters that were over 52 years old. They belonged to the Smithsonian. And then we had 2 fixed wing assets as well. The problem with the helos, you couldn't get parts for them. And they to me, it was a public safety and an employee safety health issue. They could probably crash at any moment. We have 2 brand new helicopters that have a big payload, so they can pick up a lot of chemical, go out and larvicide, and don't need to come back as often. We've created an auto loader to help load the insecticides, and it's greatly helped your tax dollars. We're building a brand new facility, and we are my time's up. But we need this new facility, and it's for your health and public safety. Thank you very much.
Okay, Randy, your opponents did not respond to us. So what I'm going to do is hold the question until the other guys speak.
Very well.
You can all answer.
Thank you.
Michael Cox.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank the league and for Pasco Now for putting this on, and for every one of you for coming out to be an educated voter. I think that's so important. I recognize my beautiful wife, Abby, is sitting here today. I've been dragging her around to political events for a long time. I got started in public service when I was 23 years old. Needless to say, I'm a lot older than that now. I was first elected to the city council I served there for 2 terms, and I was elected to serve as the city's mayor. I took a break for quite a few years in public service, and in 2006, I decided to run for the Pasco County Commission, and I was elected, served there for 4 years. And I really thought I was done with public service from an elected standpoint. I've been very active from a volunteer standpoint. By profession, I'm a certified financial planner, but I have spent my lifetime volunteering in this community. From Rotary International for about 30 years, been past president of the Rotary Club of Holiday twice. My wife and I started Friends of Animal Services that benefits Pasco County. I did that when I was a Pasco County Commissioner and saw a need out there for that. I was one of the founding members for Safety Town here in Pasco County. I also served on the State Ethics Commission. I was appointed 2 times by 2 speakers of the Florida House. I left the Ethics Commission to serve back in Pasco County on the Planning Commission, the Charter Advisory Commission, and in 2000, I received a phone call from Commissioner Freed asking if I would serve, if she appointed me to fill a vacancy on the Mosquito Control District. So I said, sure, I would be more than happy to do that. And I've enjoyed doing that. You know, if it weren't for AC and mosquito control, none of us would live in the state of Florida. That's the God's honest truth. What I've tried to do since I've been there is to really focus on what's most important, and that is protecting your health, period. That is the mission that we do every day at Mosquito Control, and it's driven by science. It's completely a science-driven program. The other thing is, I believe in strong fiscal responsibility. Being a certified financial planner, I understand what it's like for budgets. I do that. I'm a small business owner, so I know what it's like to do that. And I believe in providing strong leadership on the board. I would ask for your support. I would ask that you swat the box for Cox.
Thanks.
I'm Gary Buck Joyner. I'm a 65-year resident of Pasco County. I served 16 years on the Pasco County Mosquito Control Board. I am the only commissioner that has served on that board that has a chemical background and a business background. I retired from the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services after 26 years conducting feed, seed, fertilizer, and pesticide inspections. We regulated all the pesticides they used out there. So I have that background. I've also owned 3 businesses. I had to resign my position because I was elected 5 4-year consecutive terms. My opponent, Commissioner Cox, fine gentleman, took my place when I resigned because my fiance became ill. I had some problems. She passed away 3 years ago. I want to go back and finish what I started, and that was going to a 5-member board. We have 3 commissioners. They all live right here in Newport Richard. The rest of the county has no representation. My plan was to put a commissioner in each county commissioner's district. We got 5 county commissioners. They're elected for that district countywide. They serve in that district. Another thing, they want to spend $37 million of our tax dollars to build a new complex, and they do not need it. I can prove this because the complex sitting out there, they can spend $3 to $5 million, remodel it, and they're set for 25 years because the population of the county is growing so fast. And that's, we don't, the helicopters we purchased, I was there when we purchased the helicopters. We need the helicopters. You have to have them. There is no way you can get by without them. But both of them are a little bit too big for what we need right now. They can sell both of those, buy one, pay for it, and then finance another one. And they can cover the smaller areas. I've done my research. I know what I'm talking about. And we don't need that complex. The taxes was raised $4 million this year. Last year, the budget was 21.5 million. This year, it's 25.5. I've got the paperwork right there to show you. If anybody has any questions, I will be glad to answer any of your questions after the meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, can the other two candidates come up, please? Okay, I'd like each of you to answer this question. What is the plan for determining and providing mosquito control for the many new developments in Pasco? I think we're all getting overwhelmed with seeing all these new places and worried about retention ponds and mosquitoes. So, who wants to go first?
First of all, they put out tracks to check for mosquitoes to see what kind they have, the species and so forth, and how they need to treat them. That's in all the retention ponds and a lot of your other ponds and so forth, the low-lying areas. Cypress ponds, same thing. So when they find out, then they know what kind of larvicide or spray they need to treat them with.
Thank you.
So the helicopters are much needed in this county. When this county is completely developed out, 30% will be in conservation hands. So it's important to be able to treat those areas. That's the reason why we have the helicopters. It's the reason why he voted to buy them. What we've added on there since I've been on the board is we've added drones so that we're able to treat those smaller areas at a lot less cost than flying a helicopter in. We're talking about cost. One of the things that I asked the board to do this year is actually reduce our tax rate. We're going to reduce taxes in the district. There's not a lot of governments out there that are going to be able to say that. Most of them are going to the rollback rate, which is actually a tax increase. As far as treating those areas, the county has grown. The district has grown. The district started in the 1950s as the West Pasco.
Like Commissioner Cox said, we have implemented drones, so we're flying those all over the place in areas where the helicopter, it would not be an efficient use of the helicopter. Pardon me. We have two helicopters because there are times that both of them are in the air fighting larviciding, fighting mosquitoes, and adulticiding as well. Since Pasco's growing, we're going to be closing in on 1 million people. There's a much higher need and demand for mosquito control. So we've got more trucks that we're going to be putting out there. We're hiring more people. Myself, Commissioner Cox, Commissioner Abbott, and 53 people protect Pasco County. We're building a brand new facility because our little tiny 10-acre footprint is not large enough for what we need to do. We need to do testing, there's research, and our new facility is going to allow for the growth for Pasco County. Within 20, 30 years, we won't be able to have a place for that.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Looks like we do have time for some questions from the audience. So, if anybody has questions for one of the groups, if they're still here, then we have time for questions from the audience. Boy. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and we will see if that group is still here and can answer your question. Yes, sir.
I have one from Michael Cox that was just here. Is he still here? So for to save time, I'm just going to ask while I'm walking out. So you mentioned that you advocated for a decrease in taxation. Are we talking just millage rate? Or are we talking a true decrease where a true notice doesn't go out saying that because of the property values increasing, there would still be an increase regardless?
It's going to be a decrease in millage rate so that it qualifies as a tax reduction.
So is it decrease millage, but the property values would still result in an increase to the budget.
There is a small increase in the budget.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to check that out.
Where is the new facility being built?
In the center part of the county. And I'd like to expand on that just a little bit. So the district was originally the West Pasco Mosquito Control District. So it was just West Pasco. The district has expanded 5 times in its history. The facility that we're at right now is still in West Pasco. When the last expansion took place in 2003, we now encompass all of Pasco County. It's very expensive to fly a helicopter from West Pasco to East Pasco. So by building a facility that's located in the center of the county, it's going to save you money and it's going to service us better. You know, the district is no different than any other department in the county. You know, the county is building a jail for like $250 million. The resource recovery plant is being expanded to the tune of about $175 million. My alma mater, Gulf High School, $63 million improvement, right? Building a new one. So at $37 million for a whole campus, it's not a bad deal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to ask the school board people what you guys see we should be doing with all this gigantic development that's happening in Pasco.
So like I said, I've been here since elementary school. I was in high school with double sessions at Gulf High, so it was not an experience I would like anybody to have to go through. Got up at 4:15 in the morning every day to get at the bus stop by 5 o'clock. And other than that, they had no choice because things are growing so fast. We had the 45-15 plan. So that's one of the things I'm passionate about with the growth continuing, that we don't ever have our students subject to these things. We do have pockets where the growth has overtaken the development. I don't know if I have a time, I'm watching for that. But
No, that's okay.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, so there are areas sort of in the more central area, Bexley, all those areas. We just approved a school, it's gonna be called Skybrook K-8, that is already begun, and that's gonna alleviate some of the elementary school pockets, because nobody likes portables. Even worse than portables, people hate to be rezoned. And so we're trying to balance, that comes out of our capital side of our budget. So we have not gotten capital from the state in about 10 years. That has gone to the charter schools. So we have been living on the penny for Pasco, and that is a wonderful referendum. And so we are trying, it's a balance. We balance trying to build, but not too much, and answer to the taxpayers. So.
I wanted to clarify, the funding that's been cut is actually PICO funds. Those are collected off of our utilities. So we do get capital funding. Sadly, the board did just approve though $25 million to a career politician in his charter school. And so one of the problems that we have right now is with how we calculate our average daily measurement. So the average daily measurement formula is used the same across the district. So areas on West Pasco that are, more retirees, it's different than obviously families that we're going to see in Central and East Pasco. So my kids' school, for example, they've had 16 portables for 18 years. And it's very difficult to keep the rain out, the ants out, the roaches out. We've had to have Mark Fox come out, who is our director of maintenance, to remove the stray cats that are underneath. We have the same problem at Mitchell High School as well, where they have to trap raccoons. It's not safe. And we also have schools like Bexley, kids are learning in the hallways, and they're called cottage classrooms. It's a makeshift wall built with also a bookshelf, which is unsecured. All of those create safety concerns. All of this overcrowding also means that kids can't properly use the playground, which is a designated recess area. So that means we have kids having recess in the bus loop. Also not safe. So we need to, as a board.
Do I get to respond?
Okay, we're gonna please eat do some things, wander around, talk to the candidates. We have a response that you want to do, and can you do that with the group?
While you're eating, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I'd like to respond to a couple things, a couple statements that were made. Yes, PICO funds, but they do come through utilities, but they come from the state. They were cut off from us, the district. We no longer get them, haven't gotten them in 10 years. So again, back to paying for Pasco,